What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Only Points podcast. It is a great time to see you guys again, and thank you guys for joining. Once again, I am Credit Jacker, also known as Alexis, and right next to me, I have Eddie.
What's up, guys? Again, Eddie Mercado, aka Creddy, or Eddie M75, and right over here to my left, we have the Beast himself.
Eddie Garcia, IG EDDY R Garcia 23.
Perfect. And today we actually have a very special topic that we actually want to cover. Something that I don't think a lot of people have the guts to cover, despite us just wanting to put our points out there correct. And then now before we actually get started, we actually want to go ahead and you guys might be like wondering or asking your guys yourselves, how long have you guys been like friends for? How long have you guys been buddies for? How long have you guys been business associates for? How long have you guys actually known each other? Right. So we're actually going to be talking about how we all each met each other, first impressions, when was like the first move that you saw or heard and you're like, damn, I really got to talk to this guy, or let me bounce some ideas off this person. It's got to be as cold as possible because I'm gonna be honest.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be honest. So again, that's just because you did do the introduction and you're the mic guy and everything. We're gonna go ahead and pick on you first. So we're gonna pick on Alexis first. Again, the homie Alexis Martinez. I met him when I first saw him. It must have been it was obviously a group chat of credit, of course. And I remember sometimes there's always a call, and at the very end of the call, everybody says, the mentor or the speaker always says, well, everybody drop their Instagram names, follow me and follow each other, this and that. And I remember when I searched his Instagram name, his picture came up, and it was I did state that it was going to be cold. I was like, oh, like, what I was like, this guy has to be like pretty young because he's not the tallest person in the room.
Oh, okay.
There's two guys that are 6 feet tall. We're not going to say who. Could be me. It could not be me, right? So I was like, I literally said, what a little kid already into the credit game. You know what I mean? Right. And not only that, with what the things that he does. I think I saw computers, a bunch of hiking stuff. I was like, oh, what a geek, but in the legit way, like no matter what, I said, an intelligent person that might spend hours in the computer but also appreciates nature. So he actually goes out. Then come to think, I started to see his name pop up in some group chats, whether he was answering difficult or simple questions. His participation was definitely up there. And I was like, you know what? He doesn't have to be the smartest person. He's certainly not the dumbest person because I haven't ever caught him asking a dumb question like, oh, which credit card should I get? Oh, which secured credit card should I get? Oh, is this bank? None of those questions. Those questions can easily be Googled, even though he's answering those questions. So of course he knows. I said he doesn't have to be the smartest one. He's obviously not the dumbest one, but because his participation, I saw there was what's the word that I'm looking for? There's I'm looking for a word. There's when you put forth the effort. What's
initiative?
There's initiative. Yeah, you definitely take initiative. Yeah, that's the word. He takes initiative. So that's a team player for sure. Whether he answered the same question, and this is true. Whether you answered the same question multiple times or not, you were still the same person answering the same questions. The first time I met him in LA. I had a trip to go. I went to go visit my grandma. Everybody that follows me on Instagram and Snapchat knows I love my grandma. I always go. This was at the time, actually. I used to live in the Central Valley, the 209 area. I would drive down to see my grandma, my last of my grandparents. And I remember I hit him up. I was like, hey, I don't think I had my Tesla at the time, huh?
No, you didn't. You didn't know.
I had my Challenger. I was like, hey bro, like I'm getting ready to head back. This and that. Like if you want to grab some food. I was not hungry. That too, I was not hungry. He goes, yeah, for sure. Like I'm down because I'm not gonna say the name of the city where he lives, because you don't have security at the moment. But I was going to hit his city on my way back home. So I was like, hey, like, of course, everybody just wants to grab food. So he goes, if you want, we can go ahead and grab some lunch. I was like, yeah, it's your city. Just tell me like a good place to eat. So I actually pulled up, and I remember I was waiting for him. I paid for your food. And I remember he asked me, I was like, hey, don't even trip. I got it. He goes, are you sure? And I was like, what a dumb question. I was like, of course. Like, it's just, I want the points. Of course I'm going to pay for your food, even though I'm going to earn less points than the money that I'm spending. It didn't matter. It was a gesture it was like a token of appreciation. It was just, we're breaking bread. And I remember I spoke to you for about an hour and a half. Again, I lived in the Central Valley. That's from LA. That's probably approximately from kind of like where you live is a 4-hour drive. I literally told myself, because I hung out with you for at least an hour and a half. We went to a park right after to chop it up. I remember seeing a bunch of squirrels at the park. And I was like, once I got in my car after that hour and a half, I was like, damn, I just wasted an hour and a half. No, I didn't. I built a relationship. And not only that, I ended up seeing in the news later that there was a massive crash. So in the freeway, in the direction that I was going, and either that was Jesus helping me avoid that car accident, or it was Jesus helping me avoid the jam, the traffic jam. So that's literally I met him in a group chat, followed him on Instagram. I saw that he had initiative. I met up with him, and we've been boys since. More than boys. This guy's pretty crazy. If there's personals that I can't disclose, but all I can say is balls of steel. That's all I could say. Really.
Yeah.
Really perfect. And then what about you, Eddie? How did you meet Credit Jacker?
Okay, so I can't recall if the very first time I heard about you, your name or your Instagram name, I for sure, I feel like when I saw Eddie first post, like you would post about you traveling a lot. Like you're always staying in like hotels after hotel after hotel. Mm-hmm. And then you'll tag Eddie and someone else. I can't remember who it was. And
can't remember the guy either.
Well, actually,
it was probably like Elvis, or it was probably like,
no,
I can't remember.
You know who it is. We just no longer talk to that person.
Oh, I don't even remember who it is.
Good.
So I don't. So
that's how irrelevant.
Yeah, I guess so. So I guess so. I don't know who it was, but I think I remember like the name, but whatever. And I was like, oh, who's this kid? Like, who's this kid? I thought the same thing. I was like, man, this who's this? This is chamaco.
Do I really give off kid vibes?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, only wrong answers, because I don't think
wrong answers only.
Wrong answers only, because I don't think you want real answers there.
I was like, why is Eddie wasting his time with this fucking beaner-looking kid? No,
no. That was cold. No. So definitely knowledgeable for sure.
Yeah, so
knowledgeable in your craft.
No, for sure. So because I've already known you before, I've already had hang out with you before.
We'll save that for my seg.
So I knew you personally, and I didn't know Alexis. So but I think I seen Elvis either tagged you and stuff. I seen you in his. I was like, who the hell is this fucking kid, right? And I was like, I don't know, like I was like all I knew, I was like, you must be someone if he has the respect of Eddie and Elvis and everybody that I also respect. So I was like, okay, cool, let me go follow him. And I think we talked a few times through Instagram, right?
I believe we did, yeah.
We talked multiple times, and then I think I saw you. The very first time I saw you in person was in Upland at Elvis event, and I saw you briefly, and I think that's Alexis,
mm-hmm.
right? But we never said hi. You went to talk to Mo right away,
exactly,
and then you disappeared, and then
you went for business.
Yeah, and then I was like, I messaged you. I think we talked after the event. I was like, dude, like, bro, I saw you were there, right? And you're like, we should.
I was, yeah.
Modern
Yeah,
Houdini.
and then I was like, dude, you should have said hi or something, bro. But whatever.
It's because I had to deal with business matters. That's why.
No worries. It's all good. It's all good. And then the first time I actually met you in person, officially, was here in New York. Formally, he was here in New York.
And that was like 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, it was 3-4 months ago. Actually, like 4 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
August. Mid-August.
Right.
Late August.
And and that's the very first time I actually met you in person officially, right? Introduced ourselves. And I think you're very knowledgeable, but I think one of the things is like you were very, I don't know, I think you were very shy at first.
Okay.
Very reserved.
You could be. You
could
definitely
be.
could be.
So, but yeah, that was my very first impression of you.
Yeah, and I mean,
I guess you can say what are your impressions of us?
yeah. So I think going back with Eddie, I think we met through a mutual friend, and basically, I was talking to this mutual friend before I met Eddie, right? So
was a mutual friend.
yeah, so I was talking with this mutual friend, and basically a bunch of things, this mutual friend, like he randomly saw one of my stories, I think, regarding arbitration, and this was I was doing arbitration at the time, and I was successful with this arbitration thing. So
can you speak a little bit, because that's actually going to confuse people? What is arbitration exactly? Well, not exactly, but what is arbitration? Just a little bit.
Really briefly, arbitration is, think of it like a lawsuit, but like
Without taking them to court.
yeah, like think of it like an informal lawsuit, in other words. So I don't want to say all companies do, but a good amount of companies have arbitration provisions. It's basically an agreement where you go into a contract for, let's say, any, like, let's just say T-Mobile, right? Like phone carrier.
That's the easiest one.
And you basically say, hey, like, I'm going to agree to pay my monthly bills, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, somewhere in that contract is going to say, if you have any disputes regarding this contract or some sort of issue with us, you must file arbitration with, there's either two companies. It's AAA or JAMS. And basically the idea is that you are going to fix your dispute with the company directly. And usually the goal is to get money with the company directly. If you guys don't settle, then you guys proceed with arbitration, and think of it like an informal lawsuit, as I was saying. So it's just a way to like fight back legally, and it's not as complicated or expensive as a lawsuit, which is why more customers should know about their rights, especially when it comes to arbitration. But
that's why people come to us, though, because we
Right.
know about that kind of stuff.
And yeah, I mean, like, just to like end the topic of arbitration, I've gotten some clients, good amounts of money, right? So we're talking about like, I want to say like.
Well, you got me and this mutual friend $2,400, a little bit more than $2,400. Of course, you got your cut. We each got our cut, because that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But I did zero work for that, and I still got a good chunk of change.
Correct.
More than $800, $900, and I did nothing. So
Correct. Yeah, and I mean, but yeah, I mean, arbitration is really good. So like,
yeah, let's close out arbitration, and
If
then
if you guys, like, have any questions or comments, let me know. Credit Jacker again. So, anyways, going back. So this mutual friend, right? He saw me through a story that I had. Someone reposted me regarding arbitration, and this guy was hitting me in my DMs, and so we were talking after that, right? Like,
a guy slide into your DMs.
honestly, like, most of the time, like, a lot of people slide into my DMs, but it's just a bunch of pork, right? They'll say like, hey, like, what is arbitration? I'm like, I'll explain it to it briefly, and they're like, okay, thank you, and
that's it.
It goes nowhere, right? But this guy, like,
that's why I demand respect. That's why you gotta ask me at least how my day is going first before you gotta.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Actually.
We'll talk about that.
We'll get to that. And yeah, so most of these guys, that hit me in my DMs, they're like, well, thank you, or whatever. They don't even reply. But this guy, like, he kept on asking questions. I'm like, okay, this could get somewhere.
Consistent and persistent.
There we go. This guy, credits to him, right? He was consistent and persistent, right? Like he really wanted to know like arbitration, and we just got closer and closer talking about things, about credit, personal life, other business matters, etc.
You opened up to this guy?
Honestly, yeah, not like like very deep, but we started getting closer and closer about our personal lives. And
did you ever meet this guy in person, or this person, this mutual friend?
And yeah, we met this mutual friend. He's like, hey, like whenever you want, come over to San Francisco and we'll pick you up. At this point, he had already introduced me to Eddie, and these guys it's a mutual friend, right? So yeah, he had introduced me to Eddie, and I believe we might have started DMing on Instagram. I don't remember exactly what we were DMing about, but
just regular credit stuff and travel hacks, because that's what when I hear the word travel hacks, credit, it's just like a light bulb in the back of my brain just goes bing, and you automatically have my attention. I shouldn't have said that. But
and yeah, I mean, once we started talking, I don't remember if you came to LA before I went to San Francisco.
Yeah, multiple times. At least twice.
Okay, so you did come to LA. Let's just say that you came first, right? The first time that I met you, I remember you being really tall. Like I knew that you were tall because I had seen photos of you, and I knew you were going to be tall. But when I met you in person, that was my first impression. I'm like, damn, this guy's actually tall. And not only that, like he's actually like white, and
what white?
White.
Oh, white.
Yeah, so I'm like, whoa, because I knew that you were Mexican, but
white like Wedo or white like
like because you're light skin for
okay,
Mexican.
white complected.
Yeah, so like that caught me off guard a little bit because I knew you were Mexican. So, and you even told me that day, like I get this a lot that I'm really tall, and that I don't look Mexican, and yeah, same things that he had said, moments ago, that we had. He invited me. Well, I told him about this place to go eat. We got some food there, and he invited me. I'm like, he asked me, or if no, he said that he'll pay for it, and I'm like, really? And like, yeah, I got you. And so he did. We talked a little bit about credit cards in that in those few minutes that we were waiting for food. We went to the park and we talked a little bit more. We ate, and yeah, we were hanging out for like an hour and a half, but yeah, like it gave me the impression that he didn't know credit, like not a lot of people can say, like that they know credit, because a lot of people these days are asking, like the most basic of questions, like what credit card do I get? Like, come on, man.
I think there's a massive difference about knowing credit and understanding credit, because that's there's a massive difference. There's not even a thin line, knowing credit. Yeah, you can know credit, you can know of credit, but if you don't know how to stack it, structure it, or anything like that, you don't understand it. But yeah, that's any other details that you remember? You don't remember me peeling out like I'm late? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't peel out. No,
I don't remember that.
No, I never peeled out.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, I had relatively good thoughts about Eddie. When we were talking about credit, he understood it. It's not like he was faking being a credit furu or something like that. So yeah, that was my experience with Eddie. And when it comes to the other Eddie, basically we...
Wait. He's got to tell his story on how of we're going by parts. So
okay, for sure.
I mean, so basically passing over the mic, what was your first impression? How was the very first time on how you met me? Or what was
well, actually, no, it would be better if he finishes me for...
Doesn't matter.
Oh, that sounded so wrong. What I just said. Let him finish. What was his first impression?
Go ahead. All right.
Or when was the first time he heard about me, and then
perfect.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I remember. I want to say that I first heard about Eddie Garcia in the mentorship group because there were a lot of people in that group. So I kept on hearing his name. You know, I saw him in the chat, and obviously there were two Eddies, and I think there were more Eddies, or I don't remember. There was Ed Soto, so
Ed Soto too.
kind of a variant of the Eddie, and
Yeah.
and anyways, so there were a bunch of Eddies. So obviously, you know, like
It's a popular name. What can I say?
it is popular, yeah.
Very sexy name.
And that name stood out, right? So
It always stood out. Why?
it always stood out because
Every Eddie or Ed. Understand.
because I remember seeing his what do you call it? The Zoom username. He would have it like IG at
Yes.
Eddie Garcia.
It's working. It's
there we
freaking
go.
working.
So of course he did it for a reason, right?
Yes.
So I remember that, and not only that, but he would always put on his video camera because I don't know, like let's just say half of the people didn't do that. So
Yep.
of course that's
Not
important,
even
you
half.
know.
Like literally 90% of people don't put their face. You guys, yeah. I'll talk about that later, but go ahead.
Yeah, that goes to personal branding, but we will talk about that in an upcoming podcast or yeah. Anyway, so that's one of the things that caught my mind, you know. So I was looking out for this Eddie Garcia, and he was always typing out comments, being very helpful, and yeah, I think he even spoke a few times regarding some credit stuff, credit repair as well, and that was my impression, you know, that he really understood the stuff. And I don't want to say that everyone there like knew their stuff, because some of them like were getting into it, or some of them were like experts at it. And honestly, I could say that Eddie Garcia was an expert at basically like everything that he was talking about, and I had really respect for this guy because not a lot of people are like that. And again, you know, like I think the next time that I saw Eddie in person was during the Upland event at the Mastermind with Elvis and Mo and those people, and
The one where you avoided everybody.
the one where I avoided everyone, you know,
Yeah.
because I had to do business matters, but but unfortunately I wasn't. I saw Eddie, you know, and the same thing I thought about Eddie. Dang, this guy's really tall, like even taller than Eddie.
It's the hair.
That's the hair.
It was the hair and the boots. And
Yeah, because I was a presenter. I was one of
Yeah,
the
you were a presenter.
instructors
You're a
there, a speaker there at the event. So, I guess I did a good job.
you were dressed really slick. I think I told you that later, but
Yeah.
you always dress fire. Anyway, so that was my other impression of you. Like, this guy knows how to dress. You know, he knows how to present himself. All of that. And unfortunately, like I said, I wasn't able to talk to him that day because I had to talk to other people first. Otherwise, you know, like I risked, you know, not being able to talk to them later that night. So that's kind of why I wasn't able to talk to Eddie Garcia that night.
Now, okay, that's actually interesting that you say that. Now that you guys talk more, so since then, since hanging out, since meeting in person in August, how much more do you talk to him? Do you talk to him on a daily basis, on every 2-3 days, every other day, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? What's up?
So after this, right? So we started to plan a New York trip, or mostly it was between these two, Eddie, because they wanted to go to the Philippines, and Eddie Mercado was like, hey, you know, like we're gonna go to New York, so like come through, pull up, and yeah, that's how I first met Eddie Garcia, right? So again, you know, like I actually spoke to him this time, and basically everything that I thought about him, my impressions were confirmed, right? You know, he knows exactly what he's doing. Like, he's an actual boss, those sort of things, you know. And to answer your question, you know, of course, after New York, you guys had went to the Philippines, and Eddie Mercado stayed there for, I want to say, like 6 days, 5 or 6 days, maybe 7 days.
I just stayed in the Philippines for a little less than a week. It could have been 6 days, 5-6 days. And then, of course, I drifted off, went to other countries. But
To be honest, I don't think we spoke much after our trip. The reason why is because I literally cut everybody off. I was like on grind mode when I was in the Philippines for straight 3 months.
not only that, when the time that you did sleep, we were up, and when we were sleeping, you were up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So massive 15-hour time difference from the Pacific time, which is the West Coast, to the Philippines, to
correct.
to Asia.
But yeah, but I mean, like we stayed in touch. I mean, like every single time I had a question, I would always ask you stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But now definitely with this podcast and all the business ventures we're about to get ourselves into.
Yeah. So I mean, that's basically what I was getting at. You know, I knew that Eddie had gone to the Philippines for an extended amount of time, and I believe I might have sent him a few messages, and he wasn't responding, you know, that quick. But you know, he was in the Philippines making big moves, so I'm gonna forgive him for that, you know, because come on, man.
He came back a successful businessman.
There we go.
You were gonna get a bunch of crap if you wouldn't have. No, I know you wouldn't have come back unless you felt comfortable. That is one thing you did say. So now
you did say that.
Everybody knows that I have a quick response time. I'm trigger fingered. How much better has his response time gotten? It cut down from
much better, yeah.
4 days to a couple hours.
To a couple hours. Yeah. Ever since he came back to the States, like it's been much better. But
perfect. So is that better? Like, is that more accurate?
It is more accurate, yeah.
Perfect. There you go.
But yeah, those were my impressions of the Eddies.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So I guess my impressions of Eddie Mercado. So I've been in the credit space for a few years already now, and when I decided to join a lot of groups, started to do a lot of digging, started finding a lot of mentors. Try to find any piece of information that I could, and I eventually stumbled upon Ruben de Leon Instagram page, and I followed him for a while. I even got a few phone calls with Ruben, so shout out to Ruben, and I eventually signed up for his
8-week 10K.
No, it was his. This was the one way before that. He still wasn't big giant success yet. And he signed me up for his...
Was it Inner Circle?
Like Inner Circle, like his very first variation of the Inner Circle. I was not one of the very first people at all. I think it had already been on for like 6 months. So I was, but so much so that it took me like a few minutes, but I could rewind all the way from the beginning of when that group chat started, and I read thousands of messages. I went through everything, and then I don't think, were you on that one?
I was Rubencito's like 27th student.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I was one of his 20th.
Yeah, I think you were.
I was in his 20s.
You were already in that one.
I'm OG with Rubencito. Shout out to Ruben de Leon. I'm so OG. I was in the WhatsApp group chat, and that was honestly better because.
Wow. No, I wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
You probably didn't even know about that.
No.
Yeah, that's how OG I am. So of course I've been in the credit game for 3.5, almost 4 years now. So very, very proud.
Yeah. So rereading all those posts and rereading all that, I saw your name pop up multiple times. Obviously, first because I saw that you misspelled Eddie. So.
The way I spelled Eddie.
I saw that and I was like, this guy.
Eddey.
This guy clearly is dyslexic
or something. So is that like a sign of arrogance?
No.
This guy doesn't know what he's doing?
No. I actually, no. Well, first of all, it was obviously, we got another Eddie. And I've never seen anybody spell their name Eddie like
honestly,
that.
Same.
Very unique.
Never saw anybody spell it like that. So that's all. Okay, cool. And then I think it was strange. There was a few times when drama happened. And I remember.
Spit that. Hold on. Spit that one. Yo. Yeah.
So I remember that there was times where you put your foot down and the entire group chat like respected your opinion. So I already immediately knew like Eddie's someone that must be respected.
Big facts.
Yeah, I called out 3 scammers in a group chat. I called out 3 scammers in that group chat, and those were confirmed.
Yeah.
Now somebody tried to call me out for moving funny or slimy. They thought that I was scamming, and what happened?
Yeah, no.
The whole team.
Yeah, the whole team backed you up.
The whole team backed me up.
Yeah.
So, Eddie with an EY. That's that guy.
So So that's why I immediately knew, like, this guy you don't fuck with. This guy, he demands respect. He knows what he's doing. And then I also saw another post that you also bought yourself a Tesla, and that you
That's
you
a
look great.
yeah.
You look great. And I was like, even I was a little envious. Not gonna lie. I was like, damn, this
Dude, it's a
guy is
brand new
already
car.
killing it. He's far ahead of me, and I need to step it up. And but yeah, everybody was congratulating you. So like again, so those were my very first impression of you. Like, this man demands respect. He knows what he's doing. It seems like he's successful already. So this must be a really great student for Rubencito, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I thought about you at first. And then obviously when the 8-week mentorship came around with Sean and Ruben, I also jumped into the opportunity. I saw the list of things that they were selling and to learn. And I think I wanted to learn like 2 of the things, because everything else I already pretty much knew. But Ruben did bring a very, very solid point. You pay to get a seat at the table. And I knew that at the end of the day, the biggest thing was that, the networking, the literally being present amongst people.
Killers.
That
Correct.
killers.
People that want to sharpen their skills.
Exactly. So I joined that, and obviously you were there, right? So I was like, okay, cool. I recognize this guy.
You already knew that I was always showing up.
Yeah.
That had to have meant something. This guy's always showing up.
Yep. Even when you fall asleep on Zoom calls, you show up.
That's a story. Man, tell the story. Tell the story.
All right.
I gotta rebuttal that one though.
Okay, so
I'll
one of
rebuttal
our
that
was it the very first Zoom call?
No.
It was like the second or third one. I can't remember which one.
Correct. Yeah. I'll rebuttal that one though.
You were in a hotel room in Las
In
Vegas,
Vegas.
and you were laying down. You had your laptop, you had your webcam on, and the next thing we know, we see you.
I'm snoozing.
Dead
Homeboy's
asleep.
snoozing.
Dead asleep. I can't remember if you were snoring or anything,
Nah.
but like we were trying to call out your name.
My eyes were just closed. I was paying attention.
so that happened. I can't remember if we were already like friends over. I can't remember who messaged who first. I can't remember how we got in communication first. I really don't recall.
I do remember.
Okay, so you'll tell on your side.
I'll touch the Tesla story a little later. I do have to rebuttal this right now since it's like extremely fresh. So about me falling asleep in a Zoom call, I would much rather fall asleep in a Zoom call. That was well. I mean, keep in mind it's the 8-week 10K mentorship, so we paid a good chunk of money to be in it. I would much rather fall asleep in a Zoom call with my camera on, just to be held responsible, than to like have my camera off and always be snoozing out the entire time, you know?
Yeah, actually, no. I mean, like literally no one felt like disrespectful or anything like that, because, dude, we've known you. The majority of the core members of Ruben's and Sean's following knew who you were, and we always knew you that you were always traveling. You known as someone as the travel guy, you know.
Yeah, correct.
So like, dude, it's like,
and the capping, the dissing and the capping wasn't disrespectful either. It was just funny. Everybody was just like, look at Eddie, he like literally fell asleep. Like, somebody wake this guy up. There's just a bunch of like laughing faces, laughing emojis, this and that. And then
I think I remember I texted you to wake up, and you woke up.
I woke up to a couple missed phone calls and a bunch of messages. But I remember scrolling back. I was like, God damn. I scrolled back, and then Rubencito was the only one having my back. So shout out to him again. He's like, it's okay, guys. He's in Las Vegas right now. He's been traveling a lot. Well, guess what? I was going to Las Vegas once a month, despite me going on 2 trips every single month. Now I live in Las Vegas. So that's how much I loved it. But yeah, it was everybody's like, well, not necessarily that, oh, Eddie deserves to sleep, but everybody knows like the hustle's definitely up there.
Yeah. So it wasn't like nobody saw it as like, oh, this guy clearly doesn't care about what we're talking about.
It wasn't like that, because there's I'm not gonna say names, but there's people that are like, well, I'm not the type of person to ask a question that I'll say this. I'm a person that you can come to ask questions. I'm not, and I'll answer them, correct? Why? Because I'm knowledgeable, or at least I like to think I am. if you're there to learn, and I think I fell asleep or I snoozed out for a little bit, I can't admit that, is because the topic I probably already knew, but it never hurts to sharpen your skills. So there was that.
No, but yeah. Okay, so I mean, the very first time we eventually, you chop it up. You tell me that you're coming down to San Diego. You're gonna be passing by. At the time, I was living in San Marcos / Carlsbad, and you told me that you're driving down to San Diego, and you want to pass by and say what's up. So so you show up at my apartment, bro. we both looked at each other like, bro, you're tall. Because, like, first of all, I'm Mexican American, and most Mexican Americans are not as tall as me.
Correct.
Right. So actually, I always get the, bro, you're much taller than I thought. And the very first words that come out of your mouth is like, bro, you're a lot taller than I thought. I was like, yes, I get this often. And I'm like, you're way taller than I thought.
But that's the thing though, because like since I'm always getting told, oh, you're so tall, I'm not gonna say it's rare when I say it, but like
Correct.
There's not a lot of people that are my height.
Exactly.
There really aren't a lot of people that are my height. Now, if you're taller than me, I'd be like, damn, because it's like, for real, damn, But go ahead, continue.
So
the story gets juicy.
We were both very impressed with our heights. We were like, shit, like you thought I was short, and I was like,
not short, just shorter.
Yeah, shorter. You didn't expect 6'2". Yeah. So we eventually go to my place. We literally like just jump on the live call for the 8-week mentorship call.
Yeah, I remember I was actually driving while I was in the Zoom call, and then he's like, and then you're like, hurry, because like the Zoom call's on, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And then do you remember what I pulled up with?
Was it Thunder?
No.
Oh, I can't remember.
I had wings and potato wedges.
And that's right.
I had wings and potato wedges, and during the call, we had the camera on, and I was eating the chicken wings, and then in the box starts going crazy. The chat box starts going crazy, like, oh, there's Eddie doing his thing again, eating chicken wings and potato wedges, and on the live calls. Like, I'm glad only the speaker. I'm glad in the recording only the speaker's face comes up, as well as like the PowerPoint, because that's that's a little freebie right there. But yeah, it's just I was eating chicken wings and potato wedges live on the call.
Yeah,
you remember that, right?
Yeah, I do remember that. And but no, yeah, you pretty much then either had to go to San Diego, and I mean like you were just in there my place for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, I had to take off. It was super nice to connect, and
but then eventually the very first time we actually got to hang out in person was when I went to Vegas, and when you just got your plane. We just moved to Vegas.
That's a story, yeah.
And then I passed by, and you let me stay, and that was super dope. We can talk about that later, but yeah, I mean, Eddie opened his doors to me right away. It was just that instant connection. Like we're both very driven people, same ambitions, well-mannered, respectful of each other.
Business paths, relatively different business paths.
Mm-hmm.
We bounce ideas off, but that doesn't mean just because we have different business paths doesn't mean that we can't get along.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, I'm not going to say we would be bumping heads, but I'm not going to say there would be more competition, because there's an abundance of literally everything.
Yeah.
But it's just feng shui, really, really like smooth.
Right.
Smooth sailing.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, that's very, that's my interaction with you, the very first impressions. But yeah, I think you lived up to your name.
Most I have been, right?
Yeah.
Till this day.
Till this day, man.
So yeah, perfect. So for me, the thing about you was, I remember seeing a bunch of people becoming Rubencito's students in the group chat, in the inner circle. He actually calls it the inner circle. And I don't really remember a lot of activity from you, but where you really like got me like gasping and everything was in the group chat where you see something about me is I'll actually go to like specific mentors just to learn their own area, just to learn like I'm going to go to you to try to learn what you're best at, correct? I go to experts for specific reasons. I go to experts to learn what they are experts at. So the reason why I joined the 8-week 10K mentorship is because I wanted to learn what I thought these mentors what these mentors were experts at. But they had speakers that they would bring in. They had people that they would bring in. And I remember both Sean Sharma and Rubencito were out at the time. And I remember they had messaged you, and they had also messaged the group chat. And they said, hey, you guys, we're sorry. We're not going to be able to make the phone call. And I remember I was like, damn, they're not going to make the business credit like mentorship call. That's literally the reason why I actually joined the chat and the group, yeah, the 8-week mentorship, and to learn more about travel hacking, because these people are traveling like crazy. And I was like, I am good at what I do. I'm really good at what I do. I can always be better, like let me learn their travel hacks, because even if I paid X amount, whatever I paid, right? Whatever I paid, even if I learn one more travel hack that I didn't know before, I know I can capitalize on that one. So I remember they said something along the lines as rest assured, because one of our mentees, one of our students is actually going to be hitting the topic. And I remember, Eddie, I remember you saying, I'm so sorry, guys, if this presentation is shitty. I was only given a few hours, but I stepped up to the plate. This, and that. Bro, you lit that on fire.
He killed it.
He lit that on fire after a few hours. And it's funny. I thought, bro, you were a character up there because you were serious just as much as you were a character. You're like, you guys should never name your guys' LLC this because of this, and that. You guys should never name your guys' LLC this. And why the hell would you guys ever pick this LLC name? You should never do it, because that's exactly what I did. So he was actually telling us his story. He was telling us what not to do because he made those mistakes. Yep. You want to work with him, you're paying for his mistakes, correct? But of course, to cut the learning curve, I remember I immediately hit you up.
Yeah.
I immediately hit you up, and it blew my mind because I had already met you, and you're like, bro, my phone's, because I had called you immediately, like 2-3 minutes after the Zoom call. I remember I called you like 2-3 minutes after, because I ran to the kitchen to grab some water, and you're like, bro, my phone's blowing up. Like everybody's blowing me up. and if you're not thinking, I thought to myself, this guy's fucking phone is blowing up, and he decided to answer my phone call. Yeah. That's when I was like, yo, like, that's respect. Like the respect that I demand for myself is the same exact respect that I gave to him. And, well, there was that, I kind of said this backwards because I was supposed to say like how we interacted, but I remember I hit him up. I was like, hey bro, I'm in San Diego. I'm getting ready to go back home. If you're in the area, if you're free, let's chop it up. Let's link. Because I like to do business face to face. And not that we were actually going to do business, but it's always good to shake people's hands.
Right.
Just feel their energy, get to know them on a personal level, or get to see them on a personal level, because a lot of people are taller than what they appear to be. No, I'm kidding. All jokes aside, it was super cool. I remember when I pulled up to your apartment, I want to say that you were wearing sweats, or you were just dressed comfortably, and I was like, "Yo, this is my guy." I always wear plain t-shirts, basketball shorts, and sweats. That's me. I was like, and slides.
Yeah,
and the craziest thing is we're wearing the same exact slides right now, unintentionally. So we laugh almost at the same times. Obviously, like, our relationship grew, our business relationship grew too. But it's like, since then we definitely linked. We clicked. You just last week, it's December 5th. Just last week you had 2 hotel rooms in Las Vegas. You decided to stay with me in my apartment, and you slept where?
On a futon.
On my futon, on my bed couch, on my couch bed.
And I don't even fit on it.
He doesn't fit on it, and it's like, why do you decide to do that? Why do you choose to stay in my apartment? You don't even have a full size bed. versus your 2 hotel rooms?
Yeah, simple. Just the amount of knowledge and power we are able to give each other is just way better if I were to just isolate myself in a room and not be able to bounce ideas, not be able to share what I'm thinking about, and be able to make things happen. You've seen it so many times where we're talking and I'm lighting up because you gave me an idea of something that I can implement, or
Correct.
So I think it is way better. I think our chemistry is way better. So that's why I'm like, I need to stay with this guy.
Do you think it has to do anything with the names or the height?
Yeah, probably.
The towers were 2 5G towers. No, I'm kidding. No, most definitely. If I can share a little quick story, not to change the subject. When we were in the Philippines, it could have been my last day, my last night,
the last night
before I had decided to pivot to the Malaysia the very next morning. I remember I had told him, I was like, hey bro, like I have this business idea, but I don't know if it's I know it's doable, but this and that, and he's like, well, okay, just like tell me. And I told him, and what was your reaction?
Well,
Because to me it was something simple.
yeah, well, it was. I remember exactly how it happened. So it happened.
It wasn't the way I explained it.
Can we?
Go ahead. Yeah, correct it. If it's
No.
not.
Can I tell them what it was?
No.
No, right?
No.
Right.
No.
That's what
no.
I'm trying to say. Because I can't explain it if I don't tell them what it was.
You can give a variation.
Let me think about it. Well, here's the thing, you guys. So I was telling him how cool it would be to do.
Basically, I'll say this much. Basically, hiring someone else to do a very, very important security job.
Yeah, correct. So
That's the most we can say.
Yeah. So he pretty much just said, well, we already hire other people to do that. And as soon as he said that, like everything just clicked for me.
But the thing with me was like, I thought it was something
super obvious,
super obvious, super simple. And
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe." And I'm like, bro, like I'm really like not understanding like what all this like hype is about, because I'm somebody that acts quick, and I didn't have the vision. I didn't have the deets, though, like I said, I'm somebody that will figure things out. But you, on the other hand, you within 5 minutes, you had a blueprint of how to scale already. So
yeah.
go
So
ahead.
within 5 minutes, I pretty much So you gave me that spark of the idea, and then my brain was starting to race like 1,000 miles an hour, and I was pretty much telling you like how everything I will structure it in order to make it happen. And then I started finding problems in the way that I structured it, and then I started working it up again until I literally told you, until I already had a connection on how to do it. I already had a team. Like I pretty much knew how to do it all. And
You almost didn't let me leave the next day.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. So it's So it's one of the talents. I don't know if it's talents or what it may be, or how
It's
to
your curse.
I think that's what just entrepreneurs in general are. They just see an opportunity and they just go ahead and just go full blown at it.
Execute. Because we haven't executed, but definitely still underway. There's a lot of infrastructure and
a lot
foundation to
Yeah, it's very risky.
very.
It's a very risky thing. We don't know what are the legalities of it, so that's the only reason why.
But once that's figured out, it's
once
game.
it's figured out, it's game.
It's literally game. It's literally not even to downplay it. It's definitely a 7-figure.
Oh my God! It's an easy
Multi 7-figure on a couch.
Yeah, not do anything.
Income. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you set it up, and you just keep hiring, it's just like you make an extra $100K per person.
A little more. No.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Because
I mean,
the
like,
profession pays like 176K.
Yeah, anywhere from 100 to like 150, 200. Like,
correct.
so it's wild. It's wild.
Alex is trying to stick
We're
his
trying to
nose
figure
in
this
here.
out.
We'll tell you later. We'll tell you later. Bro.
I'm over here leaning forward. He's like,
Don't make eye contact. Do not make eye contact.
don't make eye contact. Just
So yeah, man.
7 figures and
But yeah, so that's why I would rather stay with you. That's why I would rather stay with people. I don't like for example, would I rather stay in a super nice hotel, like the nicest hotel in the world by myself, or would I rather crash at the couch of Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos? I would rather sleep on the fucking dog bed.
Definitely. Thank you for putting me in that category. That does a lot. Well, not. There's Stormy and Thunder. No. No, those are my baby Frenchies.
But what I'm saying is, like, I would rather be with someone that I can
like-minded
learn
individuals
from,
that you can bounce ideas off of. Most definitely.
Yep, correct.
There's massive chemistry. Massive chemistry. So there's that. And then, yeah, well, we basically covered how we met each other, first impressions, first interactions. It's pretty clear that we get along. Again, I've never had any issues with anybody.
Nope.
Anything. Not big, not light, nothing.
Yeah, man. So and actually, I feel like it's such a huge, like I keep telling people, like, when we hang out with you, and it's like, you know, I don't know what the hell we did for you to like us, or like, you know, like, because we will talk about this in a later episode, but it's a, like you said, you demand a lot of respect, so the people around you also give us that form of respect, right?
Correct.
Because you since you demand it for yourself, you also give it.
Correct. I mean, I can't expect something that I can't give, you know. Never will I ever ask you to do something for me that I can't do myself. I'm not going to tell you to climb a 10-story building on a ladder, you know. Like, I would never have you do anything that I can't do myself, you know. And whenever, you guys know this, if I can at all ever do anything to make your guys' lives easier, better, help you guys level up, you guys already know I'm there. I'm the first person that I know. I'm the first person you guys text, because you guys know I'm gonna respond back in under 30 seconds.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, man. So that pretty much covers all how we all met each other, first impressions of each other. But to pivot, we got a few topics we wanted to now cover.
Yeah, most definitely.
This one was your idea.
Let's hear it.
So the first one was, we were eating dinner today, and one of the things we were discussing is about some people that have the mentality of, oh, it must be nice to, and then blah blah blah.
Oh my God, that must be nice type thing. So
explain to the listeners what we're talking about.
So we were let's brag a little bit about where, like, we ate and where we, like, low-key got ripped off. No, never that. we went to Cote, which is our first Michelin star restaurant.
Cote or Cote? I don't know.
It's Cote. It's Cote, COTE. Here in New York City, Manhattan, not too far from where we're staying. Anyways, just I think, like, a lot of where that. Just a little background, you know. I'm from, like, the 209, which isn't, but it's very, very nice, right? I used to be the class clown growing up, you know, elementary, middle school, and high school, and maybe even college. And to think that now I'm living in an apartment in a tower in Las Vegas, and people hit me with the, oh, it must be nice to have money. Oh, it must be nice to get a good night's sleep. Oh, it must be nice to travel. No. It must, no. It must be nice to have the problems that I have. Do you know what is nice? Having the drive that I have, the hunger, my ambition. That's what's nice. If the class clown can do it, just imagine, you know, pónganse las pilas. You know, like,
Absolutely.
In that like that mentality doesn't get you anywhere.
Yep.
Feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to get you anywhere. You stated earlier, all emotions are valid, but I don't dwell on things. And I'll go as far as to say that a lot of people think I'm heartless. It's not that I'm heartless, it's that my decisions are made based off logic. Logically, is this going to work out? Logically, is it smart to do that? Logically, would it make sense to do this instead? And these are conversations that are happening simultaneously inside my head. And at the end of the day, my answer and my action will always be followed by logic. The times that I do catch myself slipping up are when I choose to move based off emotion, correct? Because like just as much as one day I'm happy, I can be sad the next moment, but I'm not gonna dwell on being sad. I'm gonna continue to move forward. But that's really like, what do you guys think about that dumb mentality, or do you guys even think that having that must be nice mentality? What do you guys think about that mentality?
I got a really good one for this. So, not.
Can you add to that must be nice list?
Well, here's the thing. So I think it comes to a few perspective issues and the wrong mentality. Because first of all, I think when people say that, they believe that obviously everything was handed down to you and that you're so lucky, right?
Yeah, no.
Like, because they just see the end result. They see they see probably an Instagram post of you traveling everywhere, right?
Let me add this point, yo. It's the people that don't know me. It's the people that don't know me.
Right.
The ones that be like
criticize.
No. It's the people that don't know me, the ones that are like, bro, that's dope. Keep going.
Gotcha.
This and that. It's the people that do know me that be like, bro, it must be nice to move up the food chain, up the tax bracket.
Because you're leaving them behind.
Yeah. I'm there for your help, but
so here's the thing. So I think we were even discussing about this after the podcast we recorded yesterday on the rooftop. You were like, looking everything back, I am so lucky, right?
Yeah.
I'm so lucky.
Blessed.
You're
blessed.
I
Not
think
lucky,
everybody has to count their blessing. Everybody has to notice that, is there anybody that I can think of that had a worse situation that I had? Absolutely, right? I think especially almost everybody here that lives in America already has a way better life than a huge majority of the rest of the world, right? So literally, you waking up is a blessing. You being able to have a roof over your head is a blessing. So, like, for example, you were mentioning how your entire childhood and until you turned 18, until you had your own responsibilities, you had a roof over your head, nice warm meals, nice blanket, clean clothes. Everything that you needed was taken care of, right? Right, I'm not trying to say like you're pampered or anything. It's same here.
Hella pampered.
Hey, same thing. Look, hey, let me talk about personal experience. So same thing. I had a house, a roof over my head at all times. I was very well taken care of. I went to private schools after private middle school, private Catholic high school, private Catholic university. I am very blessed to have those opportunities, and I got lucky. I got lucky that my parents decided to immigrate from Mexico to the United States and meet here in the United States and give birth to me here, and that is already a huge luck, like a bunch of luck.
If you have
right?
a social, yeah.
So yes, I'm very, very, very fortunate. Now, that doesn't mean that the reason why I am here today, or my success that I've had, was because I got lucky, right?
Never that.
So I got very extremely lucky and all that stuff, and I do say that, did that contribute to where I'm at? Absolutely. But like, for example, so did 320 something million Americans have the same thing that I have, or even better, and some of them probably had it a lot worse. So, and we need to figure out how, these are the cards that I was dealt. I took a look at them and say, what do I need to do? What do I need to obtain to get over here, right? So, and it's just that, like, you guys, like, it's a perspective. And when you guys say it must be nice, it's such a terrible mindset to have, because what you're then saying is that I can't have what he has because he must have gotten it illegally, or he just got lucky, he won the lottery, he had parents that were rich, whatever. And you guys are using whatever excuse to justify to yourselves why you don't have the same level of success.
Why you're in the position that you're in.
Correct.
And credit is definitely a cheat code.
Correct. And then secondly, who cares if you who cares where I'm at right now? Like you guys shouldn't be comparing you guys to anybody but yourselves. So you having that mentality again, it's like you have the wrong idea, the wrong perspective. You guys are not even the wrong mindset. Everything. It's like not a healthy thing to do. It is not beneficial to your life. Why create an enemy of Eddie or of anybody else that is successful, right? If you want that type of success, don't villainize them.
Correct.
Let's try to see what the hell they did and see if it would work in your life, right? That didn't work. All right, try to find other ways to become successful, other people that became successful, and see what works for you. Not everything that we did is going to work for everybody else.
And I do want to add to that, because they're putting up good points, right? Like mindset, mentality does have to do with the way that saying these things like, oh, it must be nice, Of course, that's a big part of it. But I think another big part of it is that they don't see the backstory, like it wasn't always like that quick, like they didn't see the struggles, the problems that we had, along the way. And they only see like, oh, we're staying at these nice hotels, or we get these flights for free or cheap, like they don't see, like what it took to actually get those things, and
all the missed trials and the debt that we put ourselves into, the debt that we're in right now, and we're gonna continue to stay in debt because that's how we leverage credit. Keep going.
Exactly, they don't see those things, and they think it's all like fun and games, like when we decide to stay like at rooms that are 1,000 plus a night at the Equinox, just because we literally can, right? They don't see that it takes a bunch of hard work, and again, it's kind of disrespectful, like because we started somewhere. We didn't start, from the top, we had to start practically from the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So they don't see that, and it's kind of, disrespectful because they can do that too, it's just, will you do it? Will you have the courage to do it? And that's the other thing, besides the mentality and mindset.
Yeah, correct. I personally wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, not a gold spoon, a wooden spoon at that. But like Eddie was saying, one of my biggest advantages, if life is a marathon, my mother was a stay-at-home mom. She curated me. She, like you said, hot meals, every meal. If I wanted chilaquiles at 3 p.m., if I told my mom, I want chilaquiles, and it was 3 p.m., by 3:30, I already had them done. I didn't even start doing my laundry till I moved out. And I moved out when I was 25. That's a massive advantage. Always had clothes on my back, roof over my head. It wasn't until I got my phone that I had a phone bill. It wasn't until I got a car that I had insurance to pay for. It wasn't anything like that. So my start line in this marathon was very, very, very advanced than everyone else. But like you stated, everybody starts somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody saw all the hours of work and dedication that were put into it.
Right.
Of course, it's pretty hard to document that. It's pretty hard to post about it. It's pretty hard to show. But so you guys only see the pretty picture,
Right.
Yep.
And then it's like people do say count your blessings. Well, numbers don't stop. So, and that, I think that
That wraps it up.
I think that wraps up that topic, like count your blessings and numbers don't stop.
Yeah, actually. Okay, so this next topic is regarding for the three of us, to be honest with you, because the three of us are entrepreneurs, and this actually topic comes up a lot, even within our own conversations. Especially, I know me and you, Eddie, we've talked about this multiple times. But basically,
Which one? What topic is it?
the topic is basically women and relationships as an entrepreneur, basically.
Yeah.
For example, because I know a lot of people. If you want to talk about how long have you been single,
Oh,
and why
100%.
you remain single,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff. So actually, Alexis, I don't think I've ever asked you this, but yeah, actually, I would like it if you start this segment.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
But basically, what are your current standings about?
Are you single as a Pringle?
Are you single in a taken? And why is that?
Any situationships?
Yeah, and what are your views on relationships? All that stuff. Women.
Girls being entrepreneurs. Who's your like ideal partner?
Correct.
Of course. So I want to say that I started doing entrepreneur things around 2017. So this was what, like, I don't know, like 5.5 years ago. I'm coming to closer to 6 years now. And at the time, I did have a girlfriend, so I was taking at the time. And yeah, I mean, I started, with specifically Amazon. It was,
Are you guys still together?
oh, no.
Oh.
To clarify,
Congrats to
currently
her.
single.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yay.
Her loss.
Her loss. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so briefly, May 2017, I started with Amazon. I got into. I was getting to that. I started with private label. So, long story short, I broke even, so I didn't really want to go further into that. And then that's when I came across wholesale. But the reason why I get into this is because when I was taking during this time, it was kind of like I want to say like a mixed sort of feelings she had about when it came to business, because honestly, at the end of the day, most people, what they know is a 9 to 5 like basic life. They think that it's just all like wake up, go to work, eat, sleep, rinse and repeat, right? So
Till you're like what, 65?
yeah, that's literally like what most of the
That's the American
country.
dream. What are you talking about?
Exactly, that's what most people know, and
No, it's not.
and it's just a sad reality. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at is that starting a business, it's inherently risky. There's no sugarcoating it, right? Like that's what entrepreneurs are literally getting themselves into, and yeah, what I'm trying to get at is that she, at the end of the day, she kind of doubted it, or she was always questioning, like, do you think you're doing the right things? Like, do you think you're gonna profit, or what if this goes wrong? Your 9 to 5 is stable, and at the time I was working at Chipotle before that, so why don't you just find another job? Go back to Chipotle or find something better. Or I was a civil engineering major, so why don't you use your degree? Find a job there. It was always something that and I want to say that it wasn't really supportive, but again, I don't want to speak for everyone that has a relationship with that are entrepreneurs, because there's people like Diego Rivas, and that they're doing well, their relationship is something to look after, but we can talk about that in a bit, but yeah, like in my experience, like mine wasn't, like entirely supportive, and that's kind of, like a little bit for me disappointing, because I had to kind of mostly depend on myself, that I know I might not have the support from people that I care about, but I have to get through this, and yeah, so that's the other thing, and going back to the question, sometimes I feel that there's not a lot of women that are entrepreneurs, and I feel like they can do really well, and honestly, like sometimes like they should even earn more than some guys, because they have a lot of qualities going for them, and honestly, I think the space is open to them, but for whatever reason, they're not getting into that space. Maybe of course it's male dominated, right? But who's to say that a woman can do the job as well or even better as a man? So I really think that we need to start inviting women more, and I would like to see that more coming into the coming days, coming months.
Gotcha. So here's the thing. Question for you. Are you actively like right now wanting a relationship,
Are you open to a
or
relationship?
are you open to a relationship?
I think it's more that I'm open to get into a relationship, but it's not something I like.
You're not
Um,
pursuing.
I'm not like, oh, like I need this right now, or like I want. Of course, I'm gonna want to have kids one day, maybe a family, but it's not something that's like in my mind that, oh, I need this by, I don't know, like in 2 years or something, But
Yeah.
it is something that I am open to, and one day, it will happen, or I hope it will happen, rather.
It will happen, bro.
Yeah.
What type of mentality is that? You will make it happen, bro.
It will happen, yeah.
All right, Eddie. So you have a special situation that we've talked about multiple times before, and basically, if you want to enlighten to our listeners, your experience.
What's my special situation? No, I'm kidding. No, so 26 years old. I've been single since I was 19 because this is the typical thing. That's the typical answer that anybody's going to tell you. I'm single by choice, or I'm single because I choose to be. Nah, I'm single because logically, it just ain't gonna make sense to me right now. It doesn't make any sense for me to date. I actually tried to date in college when I was 22 years old. The last person that I was officially dating was actually that one. Never made it official. The girl, very beautiful. Of course, she had my attention, but she had a purity ring. And when you're in college and you go 3 months without your needs, as a man, you kind of, you get a level of testosterone to build up at a very, very outrageous level. So, of course, I had to cut that just to release, if you know what I mean. Very loyal person. So, again, at the moment, it doesn't make any sense for me to date. It doesn't. I consider myself to be a high value man. I don't think I'm going to have a single partner. Let your mind wander what that means. Ask me privately if you can't figure that one out. So riddle me. Another thing is, because I do be traveling a lot, sometimes I do want a girl, not a permanent one, but just to, help her get some credit stuff going, use her points, and then, show her a little bit, have her learn her way, and we get to do a little bit of traveling.
A player two, in other words.
Yeah, a power couple. Like, to be honest with you, like if you guys were like in sync with the same thing, like.
Yeah, because my dad did tell me, he goes, no matter how big, no matter how mean, no matter how whatever, no matter how macho you may think you are, there's going to be a girl that you're going to start to stumble and trip over. And it's like, I'm not going to lie. I've had girls that I'm like, oh, like you've definitely piqued my interest. For instance, not to talk too much right now, there's somebody that's really up there. I don't know what it's going to lead to. But yeah, so right now, obviously not pursuing anything. I'm only pursuing, like more knowledge, business moves, power. And I live in Las Vegas. I hang out with some of my closest boys are club promoters. So you think it's difficult for me to meet people? Absolutely not.
Not at all.
I like to, me personally, we the people we the locals. We like to go out during the week and on Sundays when everybody leaves, because I don't like to go to a club when it's extremely crowded. Right. Even though it definitely increases your chances of, like, obviously, like, meeting people. But when it's like, I'm not saying it's slower, but when it's not as packed, that's when you really get to, like, meet people and then, like, enjoy them. And I don't have to yell just for me to be able to talk to you, because to me that's just, like, ridiculous. So there's that. Staying single. Probably not even looking for anything until I'm like 32, if I'm honest. Who knows? I might find somebody that might rock me. I think the power couple would be dope, but the way I was raised was the woman is the one that the man has to provide, the woman has to, take care of the household. Now, I do expect my woman, to know how to do everything, but that doesn't mean that she's going to do anything. I expect her to know how to do everything. That doesn't mean she has to do anything. She more than likely won't. There's the 99.999% chance she won't, because this life of luxury that we live in other people's eyes, it must be nice to be living. I want to create jobs, and if I can help other people, I will. Now, what am I saying? Create jobs, help someone, get somebody to help clean around the house, do that kind of stuff, because we're going to be doing our own thing.
Absolutely.
So and then on top of that, like I said, you have your things on the side. The more private, the better it is. And as far as like women being entrepreneurs, I genuinely, this respect that I demand from people, I pour into these girls, because there's a group of girls specifically that I like to hang out with for strictly business. Let's get that out the way, strictly business, because I want to push them to be better. As Alexis Kredijacker was saying, we need to welcome them, because just as much as we can do it, they can. It is male dominant. We can help them do it too, and it's like, think about all the people that are, all the women that are afraid to even start a business venture. They have to think about so many things. Of course, there's consequences, but I just believe a man gets over obstacles quicker, let's just say. And I'll go as far as to say that when it comes to a man versus a woman starting a business venture, a man, let's be honest with ourselves, a man is to be taken more serious than a woman. So that's why, even though opportunities are equal, there's nobody in that lane. There's not a lot of women in the business lane. I applaud you guys if you guys have started. If you guys are thinking about it, you guys have 3 males to reach out to.
Why do you think it feel? I know you already just hit a few points, but why do you think it's a more male dominant thing? Are men just crazier, more risk takers? Or why do you think?
My guy, you just answered your own question. Yeah, we're definitely much quicker. I think we revolve around logic more than emotion, and like biologically, we don't have that time of month, so we're on our toes at all times.
Correct.
There isn't a specific period of time in the month or whatever where
maybe feeling off for a week.
Yeah, or we don't have the Shark Week or anything like that. We don't. I wouldn't say it's a luxury or an obstacle. Because the show has to go on. The show has to go on, and
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we're definitely much bigger risk takers. As I said earlier, since we're in New York, we're like, that woman crossed the street. When I had the green light, I was like, that's why men live longer. No, absolutely, it's the opposite. It's definitely the opposite. I think we are prone to adapt to change much faster. Probably be willing to take more risks. I think that's one of the most massive ones. Imagine taking 10 risks and only 3 of them, you can pull 3 of them off. Those 3 risks that you took and you succeed in are going to outweigh the 7 that you failed at.
And sometimes it's going to be 7 fails consecutively until you win.
And until you win. Yeah, correct. That's a very, very strong point. And no, like there's going to be times where you're going to fail more than 7 times in a row.
Oh yeah.
I think who was the Thomas Edison, the one that created the light bulb? Yeah, where he said I never failed to create the light bulb. I only know like 1,000 ways on how it didn't work or something like that, but yeah, male dominant women, you guys are more than welcome to join. Like there's so much to learn, of course, but
Yeah.
the resources are equal across the boards, and to like the group of friends that the group of girls that we bounce ideas off of. Personally, I like to hang out with them because I like to know how they think. Because sometimes they make a make a point that's very emotional trigger, and I'm just like, wow, this is exactly how you guys get around things or do things or do this or do that. And y'all be sneaky too, but mad props, mad props to you guys for sure. Did I cover all the points?
Yeah, you pretty much did. And then for me, guys, so my situations, it's a lot different from these gentlemen over here. I am, I'm not the oldest, nor am I the youngest here, but I do have a daughter, and that is a big blessing, absolutely. And that is one of the reasons why I got to be. It affects obviously my dating life, right? So I'm not gonna just date anyone because I have a daughter, and I don't want to be bringing women into her life left and right? So for me right now, you guys, I am currently single. I did end up a relationship pretty much exactly a year ago.
For that very reason.
For that reason, for multiple reasons, to be honest with you. So basically, I became a father at 19. And again,
let's go when I went single.
Yeah. So you and I went two different paths.
You stepped up.
Yeah. So I became a father at 19, and I was still with the baby mama at the time, and my mentality was like, I'm gonna be like my dad. I'm gonna work, and yeah, that's what I did. Even on the day that my daughter was born, I went to work. Like I after she was born, I was there for a few hours, and then I without any sleep because we went to the hospital in the middle of the night. I had no sleep. I went to work, worked a 13-hour shift.
Wow.
And I was like, I gotta make this happen. And so yeah,
I working 13 hours.
Huh?
I said not. You weren't gonna make it happen working no damn 13 hours.
So yeah, man. So I had this entirely different mentality shift, and then eventually I felt like the relationship was. I knew the relationship wasn't going anywhere. However,
with your baby mama?
With my baby mama.
Okay.
So this was
for clarification.
Oh, gotcha. So let me clarify. I'm talking right now. 2014, my daughter was born, and she, So she, we were young, basically. I don't want to put her on the spot. I'm not here to talk bad about my baby mama. That is the mother of my child. But she messed up a lot in the relationship because we were young, and she was finally out of her parents' life, basically. And eventually, it was not a healthy relationship for me. It was just really bad. And it was not a healthy relationship for my daughter either. So after 3.5 years of staying together, I decided, hey, this is no longer. It took a lot of courage, you guys, to be able to break someone like that out of your life. But yeah, I took my daughter with me, and I moved back in with my parents, and it was rough, right?
How was it moving back with your parents? Were they welcoming? Were they like?
Yes, finally? They were. Because they saw, everything that was going on in my life, and they did not want that for me nor for my daughter. So they took us in. And like I said, another super blessing that I'm very fortunate to have. A lot of people I know that are stuck in marriages or are with a, baby mama, baby daddy.
Abusive
relationships, and they can't turn back into their family, right? Their family's not there to take them in. So again, I guess you guys, super blessed to be able to have my parents, and so I knew at that time. I think my daughter was 2.5 years old, and so my mentality was I need to figure this out. I need to figure out like I even though I was so as soon as we broke up and I literally the day I turned in my apartment and I went my separate way and I was finally at my parents' house, I felt this huge sense of relief. Like I don't have to take care of another human being, because to me it was such a big drain in my life that I felt like I was taking care of a baby, right?
So 2 babies.
2 babies. Well, again, not to talk anything bad about my baby mama. She has changed her life and she has a family now and she's from the sounds of it, it's a lot better. So, but yeah, so I felt this huge sense of relief. But then every single night when I go to bed, I had a huge hole in my heart, telling me that I failed, like that I failed me having a family, and I failed my daughter, that I failed us, that I failed everything, even though I knew it was the right decision. And since then on, I went into relationship after relationship after relationship, me thinking I need to put a family together, because one day my daughter's going to be old enough for her to remember, where's mom? What happened within you guys? And luckily she hasn't asked the question like what happened yet.
Correct.
So, and I'm really not looking forward to that conversation.
You're dreading it.
I'm really dreading it.
Do you think she has a suspicion of anything going on?
No, I don't. She surprisingly, I love my daughter so much, and I
It's
like,
obvious.
It's one of the, like, I respect her. Like, I'm so I talk so highly of my daughter every single time that I feel like maybe some people are like, dude, what's wrong with you? Because like I think since the day that even when she was like 2 years old, she was very, very mature for her age and very responsible, and I could trust her with things. And she had to literally grow up, fend for herself, and not be as much of a kid. She acts super goofy, of course, even when I FaceTime her, when I'm on calls with her, when I'm with her, she acts very goofy. She's still a kid. I'm not saying that she's like...
Well, she's an age old.
It's not like she's reading the newspaper on Sunday. Like, it's not like she's an adult. She's still a kid. But, like, if I were to sit her down and was like, hey, I really need to talk to you about something, she gets it. Even if it's, like, more of a mature conversation and I need to talk to her, and I'd be like, hey, you cannot do this because, and I have to explain it to her, and she's like, totally get it. Like, she gets it, right? It's not like
soldier.
Yeah, she gets it. So I'm really proud. Like, I'm super proud of the daughter that I have, and I'm truly blessed to have her, more than anything. And because obviously I could have had a brat, you know, I could have had someone that wasn't listening to me or anything like that. But this is not the case. Well, anyways, again, like I was saying, you guys, I was going, like, my dating life was really, really bad because I felt like I needed to fill this hole in my heart that I failed a family, and I needed to put a family together before my daughter was old enough to keep realizing and keep wanting to see. Because my previous relationship, my daughter, even a year later, from time to time, she still asks about her, or like she talks about her, or, you know, and she brings her up, and it's like, you know, like, I don't know how much this is going to affect her in the long run, right? Mm-hmm. So, well, anyways, again, I was going back and forth in multiple relationships, again, because I'm trying to fill that hole in my heart. And eventually it led to a relationship with my most recent relationship. And super, super wonderful girl. It was amazing off the start. Like, she was amazing. She was educated. Everything, pretty much everything. She was hardworking. I met her at work, and I thought, you know, this is exactly who I wanted in my life, and I pursued that, and I made it happen. And there's a lot of things that went wrong in that relationship, and things that I was not prepared for, things that I messed up, things that she messed up, and eventually it led to a lot of complications, trust issues, et cetera, and certain habits that I didn't like. Well, anyways, but the big moral of the story was that we broke up because of many reasons. one of the reasons that I'm willing to talk about, since we're talking about being entrepreneurs, is that she didn't like the fact that I was an entrepreneur. Not because she has anything against entrepreneurs.
I'm gonna talk about this topic after you're done.
Yeah, but because again, she got her degree. She worked in an amazing company. I'm super proud of her, everything that she's been able to accomplish. And she's still in that company right now, and she's crushing it. She's making good money. But her work is 9 to 5, come home. She has the day off. She doesn't have to think. So to all you guys who have a good and paying 9 to 5 job, you should guys would totally count that as a blessing. Right? And I would say back to you guys, oh, it must be nice getting off work and not having to worry about anything or being blown up on the phone like, this is going wrong, this is going wrong, this is going wrong.
They
right?
don't understand how easy they have it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So
how the tables have turned.
Right, how the tables have turned, right? So, so she has that life. And then she would get frustrated over the fact that, again, and completely understanding. Like I completely understand. I'm not trying to. Again, this is recorded, and I'm putting this to the public, so you guys please respect. Totally understandable why she would. Guess what? What do you think a woman wants as soon as she gets home? To be able to spend time with her partner. And I did not have that work balance that I want. That she wanted.
Well, you were still figuring it out.
I was still figuring it out.
You're
correctly.
still figuring.
And I'm still figuring out to this day.
We are.
Yeah, correct. So. And so that's one of the major reasons that we broke up, because again, I'm still figuring out, and it's to be honest with you, it is not fair for her, because I need to figure myself out first, right?
Yeah.
Wait, hold up, and I know, and it's not like a blame her, blame me, blame nothing. It's just it's the situation that it is, and she wasn't willing to. So here's the thing, now, you guys can see however way you guys wanted to. You guys can see in the way like, yeah, absolutely, you guys should have broken up. She already has her life together. She figured it out. If you're not up to par, then you go figure out, right? Or other people might be like, hey, well, if she loved you, she would have been there supporting and helped you figure yourself out too. So again, it just comes both ways. To be honest with you, it is what it is. We decided that it would be best to go our separate ways because we also had other issues besides just that, right?
Correct.
So, so yeah, at the end of the day, I noticed that she didn't support me because another thing that she did not like was me being on the phone all the time. Like I would always constantly answer people's messages. Like I'll be posting on Instagram. She didn't like the fact that I would post stuff on Instagram. Yeah, she just didn't like the whole entrepreneur lifestyle, which is okay. And this is why I'm traveling all the time now, and she has to. No, I'm not trying to rub anything in, but yeah, it is what it is, right? It is what it is, and I'm super happy for her. If she's happy, I'm happy. I'm happy, even though I'm grinding it out. I'm still working out.
You're happy regardless.
Yeah. So that is that. So I think I'm not ready again. So as a man, like we were talking about, one of the things that we have this yearning desire to do is to literally be able to provide. Like we want to be able to provide value, protection to the people that we love.
Correct. I feel like I won't really feel like I'm accomplishing much unless I'm actually providing for more than just myself.
Correct.
Because I'm not going to say I want to know how many people I can provide to on a monthly basis as well as on a comfortable level. Nah.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to know I can take care of myself and I can take care of mine.
Right. So I mean, my priorities were flipped, and right now that my daughter is getting close to 10, she already remembers things. She already has some sort of a huge form of consciousness that she's going to remember all this for the rest of her life. So now I got to be extremely selective. If I'm going to jump into a relationship, it's more like I got to know that this is it, right? So, but that's not what I want though.
Correct.
After learning everything and reflecting back into my life, one of the things I want to talk about later, but I noticed that looking back into my life and my relationships, that the only person that I can blame at the end of the day for everything going wrong in my relationships is myself.
And that's actually you taking full responsibility.
Yeah. So it's not that I did everything that went bad into the relationship, but it is my responsibility to take control of what happens in my life. And so as a man, I needed to be able to take responsibility for it so that it never happens again. Right? So now that I had these life experiences, I know what I want in a person even more. And I thought five years ago that I knew exactly what I wanted in a woman, you know? And unfortunately, even when I was 25, 23, trying to have all these relationships, man, like I was missing a lot. I was missing a lot. So for me to be able to feel like I want to be able to start a new relationship, either I am completely already taking care of myself, my daughter, and my family, and I have an abundance to be able to provide, or I feel there's a woman in my life that genuinely loves me and is passionate about and sees the vision that I have for my life and my family and is willing to be my ride or die and literally be able to build an empire with me.
Perfect. I think this is not to cut it short. I do think it's definitely a great topic that we need to cover more in depth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For a different day, but very, very strong points. I look for the same. I couldn't agree more, because I'm not gonna. I can tell you, my last job was my last job. I am my own boss from here on out. You know, for the rest of our lives. There's no way. There's you can pay me $1 million a year. I'm good.
There's no going back.
There's no
really
going back.
Isn't. Yeah.
Nope.
No. There's no going yonder anymore. So.
Yep.
But definitely. So excellent. That very, very brave of you to share that. Anything else we need to touch up on? Any other questions in the queue? Anything you need to add?
When it comes to women, like really quick, I just want to add, sometimes I think it's hard to find, a relationship, that goes both ways in terms of support and like even though like putting like your entrepreneurship aside, you might really love this your partner, but sometimes like you guys have conflicting points of views when it comes to like stable jobs or entrepreneurship. And honestly, I get it, because it's kind of hard to let one go. You don't want to let go of your entrepreneurship, but at the same time, you don't want to let go of your partner. So it's kind of like difficult and hard to understand, but that's kind of the thing where we have to, if she's not the partner for you, or if he's not the partner for you, we have to kind of have to understand that, and that there's a bunch of partners out there. So
yeah, let me shit on that belief real quick.
Let's hear it.
Because Mr. Wonderful is the one that said it. Who are you going to, if you're building a multi-7-figure business,
yeah, I know.
what is easier to replace, your partner or the business? And at the end of the day, I think that's what I will forever and always resort to. That made so much sense to me that there is no way I am ever going to let somebody dictate what I choose over what. And I will go ahead and add my 2 cents, which this isn't to, talk bad about like your previous experiences or anything like that, but there are, what we do, we work from home. So let's just go ahead and take that example. Say your partner works a 9 to 5, but you're home 24/7, with the exception of traveling, correct?
Correct.
Now, if your partner has vacation time, you guys get to go on vacation and not have to, let me backtrack a little bit. So you're home 24/7 and your partner works a 9 to 5, correct?
Yep.
Imagine you worked a 4 to 10. Your partner works a 9 to 5. You work a 4 to 10 or a 4 to 12. By the time you get home, now you're really tired. You know, now you really don't want to do anything. Your partner's already asleep. Your guys' schedules don't align.
Yep.
It just isn't going to work. It's cool when it would be cool if y'all both work 9 to 5s. That way you guys go to into work at the same times, get off at the same times, and there's like no room for cheating in between. I'm just kidding. No, you guys drop off the kids in the morning if there's kids or anything like that. You know, just really looking into the future, right? Because a lot of relationships. I remember when I was in high school. I remember some girl told me, I never really liked this guy. I was just comfortable. And it's the fact that I still remember this from like 7-8 years ago, that I always have to ask myself, do I really care about this person, or am I just comfortable where I'm at? Which of course I'm just like, I'm just comfortable. Next. Correct. Yeah. So just remember, it is also a blessing that your person is an entrepreneur, because although we might not be giving you the attention that you so want and so deserve, at least we can share the same common space. At least I just really think that you should have a strong belief that that your partner is trying to do everything they can in their power to help succeed, you know? And well, yeah, those are my 2 cents because I've had, like I said, I've had tings before. I've had segments where, you know, I just see somebody for like 3 or 4 months and it's like, well, you're always on the phone. You're always here. Well, no, not here, as in you're always, you know, you're always on the phone. You're always answering emails. You're always on calls. You're always on this. You're always on that. And it's like, you're welcome to my apartment the second that you get off work. That's a blessing. That you get to see me like the second that you get off work, versus our schedules really like never aligning. So try to drill that into somebody. It's really, really not going to work. It just makes sense to me. Does it not?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's basically what I was trying to get at.
I mean, there might not be a lot of intimate affection right then and there, but it's like, let me get off this phone call and we'll see where we proceed from, you know. But yeah, that's probably my last point.
With that,
always available 24/7, and when it comes down with what we do, since we travel for free, it's like I'm always free. Genuinely and literally, I'm always free. So always traveling once a month at least, sometimes even twice a month. And it's like, well, if you work your 9 to 5, hypothetically speaking, let's say I'm dating somebody that works a 9 to 5 or whatever, when it comes down to like their vacation time, we out the second that they're off work, you know, and we're traveling for free. We don't have to get that PTO or that vacation time or that this or that. Nah. And we're doing bougie stuff. We're going all out.
Michelin star restaurants
that the higher the price, the smaller the portions. Those
right.
And
you're still hungry after.
Not like a buffet at all.
No, not like a buffet, but we eat good. You know, we definitely eat good. Chef's kiss, and yeah. Anything did I miss anything?
No,
I don't think so.
I think the last thing that I wanted to cover real quick is just touching base on one of the things that I mentioned while we were talking about when I was talking about my relationship and how I you know, looking back at it, you know, back on all my previous relationships, how I decided that looking back at it, everything that happened in my life, it's something that I could have controlled and I take full responsibility for, you know. So the reason why I circle back to this topic, you guys, is because now as an entrepreneur, if you guys are listening to, you guys are business owners, entrepreneurs, if you guys are interested in becoming a business owner or entrepreneur, you guys should really, really listen to this and take notes. If you want to be a leader, if you want to be a successful leader, everything that happens in your life, everything that happens in your company, everything that happens around you, it is your fault. Plain and simple, it is your fault, okay? If my team messes up, it is my fault because I clearly did not give them clear instructions, or I did not train them properly in order for them to be able to execute X, Y, and Z, right? So if anything happens in your life, you didn't prepare enough to prevent such a thing from happening. And the reason why you have to have this mentality is because if you feel like you did nothing wrong and this happened because, oh, poor you, it's just a bad, unfortunate circumstance, and you play a victim mentality, you think that you did nothing wrong, so therefore you should never change anything about what you do. So, and therefore you will never work and think about what you can do in order to prevent from this happening again, right? So as a leader, as an entrepreneur, it is your responsibility to take full accountability of what's happening about your life. It is your responsibility to make sure that you are covering every single square inch of your business, of your life, and make sure that you have full accountability. So for my previous relationships, if somebody treated me wrong, if somebody treated me bad, that's not because they decided that they're going to do that. It's because I allowed it.
I was going to say that. That's because you allowed that to happen. That's why I snap my fingers and people already know.
Right? Exactly. So the reason why Eddie is the way that he is because he demands respect. And this is why he doesn't have... I
demand respect because of previous experiences.
Right?
And you this only tolerate so much.
Right? And this is actually something that I'm finding out the hard way, years later. So
well, I found out the hard way years before, but still, you know.
So this is even something that I am continuously working on myself, is the way that I treat myself, the way that I allow people to treat me, basically, is how people are going to treat myself. Right? They're going to treat me. So I should demand some sort of respect, demand some sort of level of authority to myself, to be able to say, like, no, I do not like that. I am not okay with X, Y, and Z. If you're not okay with that, then cool, that is fine. The door is right there. And there's nothing wrong with taking the door. That's what people don't understand. People thinking that just because you broke up, or that means that somebody did something wrong. No, it just means like, hey, unfortunately, it wasn't the best thing for the two of you. And that is completely fine. That is completely normal. And it's such a great thing to be able to say. And that is such a better way to live life.
Yep.
So again, you guys, if you guys stuck this long into the podcast, again, if you guys want to be a successful leader, successful entrepreneur, take full accountability of everything that happens in your business. Okay? And then guess what? Demand that same level of accountability with everybody around you, right? So for example, my team right here, we all are people who take full accountability of what happens in their life. I do not want to hear a victim mentality from any of these two sitting right next to me right now. So nope. And that because if they have that, I mean, that doesn't mean that there's no victims in life. I'm just saying that if you guys rely on that, you guys are not willing to put the work to make a change, to make your life better, and that's not the type of people I want to be with.
Strong points.
Perfect. Anything else you guys want to say before wrapping this up?
No, I think this was...
I think we covered a good amount of topics. And
Perfect. This was a great segment. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us from wherever you are around the world. We really, really appreciate you guys. Again, Only Points Podcast. We try to make very, very strong points as humans, as leaders, as entrepreneurs. You know, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Let us know in the comments any topics you want us to cover, and we can go ahead and do them in future podcasts.
Not only just topics. Let us know people that you guys would like us to go ahead and interview as well. I feel like we hold some power to be able to reach out to specific people just to put them up on the podcast as well.
Absolutely. All right, perfect. You guys.
Thank you so much.
Peace out.
Signing out.
Check. Perpendicular, check. Perpendicular, check. Perpendicular.
Put it in the right direction, bro.